Hi there, my name's Andy Sykes, otherwise known as hexjibber. I'm a award-winning animator and I also teach Flash animation in universities and colleges here in the UK. This is my website, hexjibber.com, and here's the lesson. Hi there, in this lesson I'm going to explain Bezier handles, which at first sound like quite confusing and strange things, but they're quite useful for editing shapes. Now, I've shown you a lot of stuff with this black selection tool up here, but I haven't really explained much about the sub-selection tool. That's what you need to edit Bezier handles. So, if I draw a line with the pencil tool, like so, and then click on the white sub-selection tool, you can see that it immediately gives me a series of points along a line. Now this is basically what a vector is. It's drawing a line along a series of points to create this line shape. If I want to edit that, I can click on any of these points with the white sub-selection tool and move them around. So it changes from a very straight line to quite jagged line. Now you can see there's quite a lot of points here, so perhaps what I want to do is use one of the smoothing tools here to reduce the amount of points in this line, make it a bit simpler. But equally, I can delete some of those points if I want, if I feel there are too many, by clicking on it, pressing delete. So if I want to get rid of that one there, and that one, I can just kind of clean my line up a bit. And there we go, we've got a bit of a more clean line now. Now, just like with editing strokes, as I showed you before, some of these points will be curves and some of them will be corners, like so. When you click on them, you should get these what are called Bezier handles. You've got the central point itself, and then you've got these handles on the edge of it that you can pull out to change the shape of the line. So, if you start having a mess about with these Bezier handles, you can start creating some really nice curves. You can see that I'm actually lengthening the size of the Bezier handles to change the shape of the curve. If you make them shorter, it makes it a tighter curve, like so. And you have a Bezier handle for both sides of a point. So you can have it very tight at the beginning of the curve and then really wide on the other side, so you get a curve like that. And really it's just a case of having a play about with Bezier handles and seeing what kind of shapes you can get from them. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but it is a really good way of having extra control over the shapes that you make. And Bezier handles don't just apply to strokes. If I draw a line with my paintbrush tool, like so, might just make it very slightly thicker, like that. If I click on that with the white sub-selection tool, you'll see that it gives me the same options, but instead of one line all the way through, I get dots on the edge of the shape. That's because this is a fill and not a stroke. So I have even more control where I can just pull out parts of the shape. You can see that it's only changing one side there, so I can give it a big blob in the middle as if it was a snake that had just swallowed something whole. And you can start creating really interesting shapes with Bezier handles in exactly the same way for fills as you can with strokes. So it's something that's worth having a play about with, particularly if you don't enjoy drawing. This is a more sort of mechanical way of drawing and you have a lot more control over it. So there we've got a very weird shape, and you can put a stroke on that if you want. That's quite a thick stroke, so just double click on that to select it all. Slide down the size in the properties. You can see that it's a bit thinner now. I can totally get rid of my fill and just have the stroke to play about with as well. I'm not quite sure what that looks like, but have a go yourself and I'll see you next time. Hey, if you've enjoyed this lesson, why not consider checking out my website, hexjibber.com, where you can also buy my book, the Hexjibber Colouring and Activity Book. You can buy it in the UK, US, Germany, France, Japan, from Amazon and other good stores.